Okay, let's jump into the first lecture for the sports nutrition module. A few things that I wanted to go over first, because I do think there are some risks here in talking to individuals about sports nutrition or about what they're eating if you're really not knowledgeable about this area. So a couple of things that I don't want you to do if you're a coach or athletic trainer or strength and conditioning coach is just don't give nutritional advice if you're not qualified to do so. You can do harm with that, especially to young females, so it's something to definitely keep in mind. Don't rely on peers, friends, social media for nutritional advice. Nutritional advice is highly individualized. It's based on weight. It's based on your age, what your sport is. So keep in mind that a position that is a football lineman might get different advice than a position that would be like a diver or a gymnast. So those things should be kept in mind as well. Don't focus on specific numbers, right? You don't really want to focus too much on your calories or your body weight. Just kind of focus on doing the things that you need to do to plan appropriately. And then don't use appearance or weight as your strategic value, right? Don't use that as your goal, right? You want to use behaviors as your goal rather than actual numbers as your goal. Do understand the athlete's underlying thoughts and beliefs regarding eating before you give advice. There may be some unhealthy behaviors that you perpetuate by giving advice when it's not appropriate. And you do want to focus on specific behaviors regarding eating habits. So as we'll talk about the right amount of food at the right time, you don't really want to talk about restricting and those types of things. And then you do want to work on a specific plan that is age appropriate, that promotes positive nutritional behaviors. When discussing sports nutrition, it's important to understand the specific goal of the athlete, right? One athlete might want to gain weight, whereas another athlete might want to lose weight. You might be talking about an athlete who's in season versus an athlete who's out of season. Nutritional strategies for muscular strength might be different from someone who wants to gain or lose weight, or that's just looking for a sports performance advantage, and those plans would all be different. The focus of today's talk is on how athletes can utilize proper nutrition for sports performance. So the first question I have is, does proper nutrition improve performance? So what I will contend and what you'll see presented today is that absolutely proper nutrition can improve sports performance. But what do we mean by proper nutrition? Well, my philosophy is illustrated right here. I want to start with the first three at the top. I need to make sure the athlete's taking the right type of food in the right amounts at the right time of day. Then I want to look to see what's their pregame routine. Are they in energy balance? What's their supplement strategy? What's their postgame recovery like? And then do they have specific plans for specific situations like a tournament? So what is the concept of energy balance? Energy or fuel, those are just terms that describe food that we eat in order to power the cells of the body, including your muscle and brain. So when we talk about energy, we're not talking about caffeine or energy drinks. We're talking about fuel that allows the body to do what it's supposed to do. Now, energy balance is the concept of the amount of food that we eat is in balance with the level of our metabolism plus our physical activity. So being out of balance, being too active compared to what we eat is a negative energy balance, and being inactive compared to what we eat is a positive energy balance. We want to really keep our bodies in equilibrium, particularly if we're an in-season or competing athlete. So getting a little bit more into the science, the basal metabolic rate, that is just the amount of energy it takes for the body to run its routine processes. So that might be breathing, digestion, your regulating your body temperature. So if you were just laying in a bed, not moving, the amount of energy that's needed to have your body do what it's supposed to do to keep alive is your basal metabolic rate. Additionally, there's a level of metabolism associated with how many calories you burn from physical activity. So that's the exercise associated amount of calories being burned and your basal metabolic rate amount of calories being burned. So energy balance is basically that basal metabolic rate plus what you do from activity and exercise throughout the day. And when they're in balance, it matches up with the food intake. All of those are listed in calories. So this is an example of one of the athletes that I worked with, and we took a look at their in-season level of activity and their at-season level of activity. And what you'll see here is in calories burned during a football practice, approximately 900 calories, strength training, approximately 450 calories, and we get this 1350. Then we took a look at the off-season and did strength training and speed workout and just kind of estimated how much those calorie burns would be. Now what we do is we can look at how much total energy they're using on a daily basis. So we have this metabolic rate plus the level of exercise. Now we try to get as close as possible, but you could see that there probably are some lost activities within there. So you can see that during the season, the athlete had 3,000 calories burned on a daily basis. And we compared that to what the athlete ate, and they were very, very close. So just within 53 calories. All, again, estimates. But that was to show, okay, this athlete in season was in a good energy balance, and that's what we want to see. Then we looked at when they're off season. We looked at the metabolic rate, and we also looked at exercise, and we added that together, and we got 2,634. Well, this athlete was a little bit in positive energy balance, which was good because this athlete was trying to gain weight during the off season, so our numbers worked out quite nicely. And this is what we usually will do to look to see if an athlete is in good energy balance. So negative energy balance is really what we worry about, especially for an athlete who's in season. When you're in negative energy balance, you have the inability to perform at your highest level because you will be undergoing mental and physical fatigue prior to training or competition. So an athlete like a wrestler or someone who's trying to cut weight, they're in negative energy balance, and we know they're not going to perform as well as they should. What does it look like? Early fatigue in training sessions, competitions, when the body just runs out of fuel. That will cause us to limit the gains that we intend to get from intense activity. The other thing is that unintentional weight loss predisposing to increased risk or injury, poor recovery may all occur as a result of negative energy balance.